What's going on, guys? Dabu7 back at you with another one. And today, I want to talk about these warnings being put out by Klaus Schwab. Him and his goons saying that there's going to be an era of shock events. So back-to-back events that someone's going to put into motion. And it seems like he's already got foreknowledge of all this, and he's dropping the hints out there. And there's three big things which this all centers around. One is that there seems to be this new group that they're going to be pushing out there globally, this extremist group, so to speak, or whatever, however they're going to label it. And number two, the second thing that's tied into this is going to be them basically pulling off a massive cyber attack. We've called it before a cyber pandemic. I really think that the IT event that we saw here recently was a beta test for that. It was a test run because really the IT thing wasn't even a cyber attack, so to speak. It was just a glitch. And we know a cyber pandemic is in the cards, and they've said so themselves. Another thing here is dealing with the whole climate thing. There seems to be an option on the table for them where they're going to get behind a massive event that's going to force everyone to believe that this climate stuff is real deal. And it's being speculated that one way to do that, to get a lot of people to think that it's all real deal and that we got to do something about it, would be to cause destruction on a coastal city or an island nation. And you're talking about literally sinking an island. Sinking an island. Something along those lines. Tsunami waves inundate an area. Somehow the shelf underneath in a certain area gets broke, and this place starts to sink like Atlantis. This is what's on the table and being talked about right now. So, Klaus Schwab stepping into the shadows is kind of ominous, because to me, it kind of signals that they're ready. So he's still running his mouth, still dropping these ominous warnings, and he's basically saying to prepare that we better be ready for an era of shock events, no matter what it is. I told you, with all these invaders in here, any day now, any day, they're going to get their little bat signal, and the whole thing's going to begin. There's going to be no turning back. When this place turns into Mogadishu, I guess some people are going to find out the hard way. I hope you've been preparing for when these millions of individuals decide to come out, because they've all just been sitting there quiet this whole time. And that alone in itself, I believe, could usher in a series of shock events here in America. We know they want to tear this country down. They want to make it cease to exist. It's all part of the plan. It's in the blueprints. There's even books written about it by Manly P. Hall. Secret Destiny of America. The whole plan for this thing was to bring it down in the end, and that's what they're doing. And we're going down with the ship, so y'all better be prepared. You better build your own ark, so to speak, to escape this madness. Join me on the live streams where I talk about this in greater detail. We're going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, talking about this and a whole lot more. And you can also become a channel member now and get some exclusive perks there as well.
Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. It was in this gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just another lesson through the spirit as we were watching Dabu 7, going into this demon cotton swab, mentioning these plethora of shock events, which shock goes into, when you think of a shock or something that catches you off guard, basically when your body goes into like a shock mode, it's almost surreal. And what I mean about shock events is meaning like black swan events is going to catch people totally unaware, because they in fact are the ones that's planning it, but it's really the left hand of the Heavenly Father. And the funny part about it is that they're telling people what they're going to do, but for whatever reason, they're turning a blind eye to these things because, they just, I guess they feel like it's best to not even deal with it. That way it go away. But reality of it is the problem is not going to go away, but it's just going to get a lot worse. So, hey, you people getting ready to get hit with a lot of lead, man. And like Dabu was saying, he's saying a lot of you people are going to get caught off guard, and you're going to find out the hard way. Like we on a sinking ship. Nah, y'all on a sinking ship. Okay, we have our lifeboats. Lord's will, we're worthy to be delivered from all this madness, but we ain't stand on the Titanic as it sink. Okay, we're putting in our ticket reservations to get on that lifeboat. You people are going down with this sinking ship. But us, on the other hand, we're going to stay spiritual. Okay, so it says an era of shock events. WF Cotton Swab warns. It says the World Economic Forum is a well-funded organization, many considered T-words, that is permitted to wreak havoc on global population with no repercussions. Well, because you people are afraid to rise up. All right, you outweigh the elites 10-1. You outnumber them, but yet you won't do anything because you're afraid. Okay, you have no backbones. You're hoping that things will just blow over and it goes back into 1999. But this dude himself told you that anything 2019 and prior, you could forget about it. Okay, he said we're not going back to that world. Okay, so them barbecues and those events and shit like that, and Taco Tuesday for $1 and $650 rents. Yeah, right. Them days are long gone. Okay, things are getting ready to go up. But it says Klaus Schwab and his forum have been proclaiming how they would change the lives of the masses for years, but everyone turns a blind eye. Of course, it says they told us we would eat bugs. They told us we would own nothing. They've been warning for their sinister plans for some time. They've infiltrated government cabinets and altered the left side of politics in every single Western nation. But earlier this week, they recently released an ominous article warning that we must prepare for an era of shock events in the near future. Okay, it says, and this is the New World Order. It says, since the you-know-what ease, the reality is we haven't had enduring global leadership on a much, and it's hard to imagine that changing soon. It says this is partly because superpowers are terribly burdened with global wars and domestic challenges. But a global government is their proposed solution, which is the New World Order, which Yahweh Bashim Havashai is going to upset, by the way. It says the big election year won't stop our recurrent crisis of political legitimacy. They warned that disinformation is threatening the biggest election year in history, and hence the need for global censorship, both on the streets and online. Wait a minute, man. The streets. What you think about when you think of the streets? You think of the prophets, because we're the ones that's out in the street speaking. Okay, they want to silence us, man, because they know that we're speaking against a new world order. Okay, and that Yahweh Bashim Havashai is going to come and do away with it. But it says the forum warns that democracy is declining largely due to policies being implemented. It says civil unrest is rising and the WEF is prepared for the descent. But furthermore, they already recognize that no one would accept the results of the election. It says people have fought back in all political systems driven by a conviction that there must be a better, more effective way to govern. It says in most countries, even after their vote, citizens will continue to challenge their leaders, questioning whether they have the capacity to tackle our many post such and such risk, the article notes. But in other words, the people have become unruly and are turning on governments. So the WEF is prepared to crush any rebellion before it occurs, and they're gonna do that through military action because they're gonna deploy these UN troops. Like these borders open and these people coming across the border, that wasn't by coincidence, man. Okay, that's what the elites are gonna use to neutralize anybody that speaks against their new world order by setting up paid agitators and oftentimes sleeper cells. You know, and a lot of these guys are UN troops too. So when shit hits the fan, hey, you're gonna see a foreign military on the streets of America, and they're gonna have their way with the people. But it says a more complex global mental health crisis. It says countless studies shows that mental health drastically decline among every nation implemented by lockdowns. But the 2 years of 24/7 fear mongering, business and school closures, job losses, and isolation have permanently changed our society. It reads, it says the World Economic Forum, now that there is a new type of anxiety leading to a sense of alienation that makes it hard to function, even suicide. Yep. Uh, it says those who believe the claims of the world will end every few years have become ill. It says the climate change hysteria is wreaking havoc as intended so that governments can continue to spend on an unidentifiable problem without the masses questioning their perpetual spending. It says then we have the claims that 50% of the workforce will be replaced by AI, leaving humans to be utterly useless and disposable. But again, both these fears have been orchestrated by the same organization that wants to ease them. Yeah, they play on both sides. But an era of shock events, perhaps the most ominous piece of this article, is Schwab's promise that the world is on the cusp of an era of shock events. And he told him that, he said that last year at Davos, Switzerland. He said, look, you're going to have EMP, he said you're going to have cyber attacks. You're going to have all this shit going on with this climate agenda, you know, a possible pandemic hitting by 2025. They told people this shit, and yet people still walking around here with their jaws dropped like, oh my God, how is this happening? They told you people this, man. You just been rocked to sleep because that is how stupid you people are in the West, man. You're too medicated, you know, and you don't pay attention to when people are trying to tell you something. So it says here, enduring global leadership, democratic ideals, globalization, and liberal values have all been notably challenged, and superpowers are overstretched. So what the hell you think people gonna not challenge you when you taxing them and taking away from them and taking away their ability to live? Yeah, people are gonna challenge you. It says this period of mudding through means anything can happen in our post-pandemic era, but look for global risks to be further exacerbated by unexpected, destabilizing, shocking events. And it says, and these are the three major shockwave events that the you-know-who plans to orchestrate. And it reads, it says, a new global extremist group emerges. It says the world will be distracted with multiple major wars and leadership in decline, providing the globalist cabal with the opportunity to install a new extremist group. It says a cyber pandemic that is intentional. The forum believes this group will implement AI in its new phase of you-know-what. It says the massive global IT outage in July 2024 led to 5.4 billion in damages. Was it a test? But the forum warns that we should expect a grander scale of cyber attacks that will attack banks, hospitals, and retailers and lead to a halt in worldwide services. Yeah, come on with it. It says flights will be impacted and the people will be forced to stay in place. 3, climate change claims as its first island nation in the post-you-know-what era. But last but not least, the forum believes an island nation will soon be lost to climate change. It says the COP28 plan to phase out fossil fuels may take decades, and it's unclear if world leaders will follow through, the cabal notes. But it says they are willing to orchestrate an event that will lead to mass death and destruction. So a clear, identifiable tragedy can be blamed on climate changing or changing climate, forcing people to believe that the hysteria surrounding the climate change is justifiable. But what world leader can question climate change if it's an island nation that's lost? So basically, what they're going to do, they're going to create these events, and they're going to have governments and these little small governments, city governments, to get on board with their agenda, so therefore they can control the people, you know? So get prepared for all hell to break loose, man. So anyway, let's get a couple of precepts here. This is the book of Psalms 10 and 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. And their major device is that NWO. You see, they've been speaking on the NWO since the early 1900s. Even before then, you got Albert Pike, I believe, when he go into the tell the 3 world wars and a 1 world government. They've been speaking on this for decades, for millennia. And it says, for the wicked boasted of his heart's desire, and he blessed the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. But the wicked through the pride of his counsel will not seek after the Most High, for the Most High is not in his thoughts, and his ways are always grievous. Yeah, because who the fuck wants to eat lab-grown chicken all the days of their life? Okay, who the hell wants to eat fucking mystery meat and eat bugs and all this other shit? Who the hell wants to pay $1,500 for 454 square foot living space? Who wants electric vehicles? Who wants to be taxed? You know, nobody wants to go through that shit. But sadly, you people have bought into it, so you're going to have to go through it. Us, we don't give a shit. We understand that our dealings in this place is limited. And we understand it's going to come upon a time that we're going to have to succeed from this place. That we're not going to be able to have a job or have a place to live. We already wrapped our minds around it. So at any given moment, we could be uprooted and we have to hit the prowl, you know, meaning leaving your shit behind and go through the spirit. And this is why the elder Yashwamba always say, be coming to the time that you're going to have some serious faith, man. Because it's one thing letting shit go and everything hits the fan, but they're going to gradually do these things to push people out before shit gets too bad. So while there's still somewhat of a society that's in semblance, you know, some of us may have to leave early, you know, meaning that some of us may get put out of our homes. We may have to walk away from certain policies that the job may be trying to push upon you and all this other shit, which may force you to be homeless and without a job. So you may have to go on the prowl a little earlier, you know, because when shit hits the fan, I mean, everybody is going to be like, all right, well, I ain't got no use for this TV. I ain't got no use for this car no more, you know. But regardless, we're going to have to walk away from all this shit. But it reads, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. For all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Right? He's like, who's going to stop me? But he said in his heart, I should not be moved, for I should never be our adversity. And that's the moniker of his NWO. It says his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Okay? So looking at this article here, it says 4 global risks to look out for in the post-era, you know what era. And this is actually from their website. See? Post-dispersers in the post-superpower era, big election year won't stop our recurrent crisis of political legitimacy, more complex global mental health crisis, which the fuck you think gonna happen if you allow people to change their DNA, or not their DNA, but their genetic makeup. You let a man become a woman and a woman become a man, and you're pushing all these particular agendas politically, you know, and these 152 different genders on people are going to become fucking confused. They're going to be depressed because they're outside the norm of living. An era of shock events. Yep. So, yeah, man, they're getting ready to do something. And about fucking time. All right. So this is the book of Ezekiel 7, and I'm going to start at verses 24. It says, wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. And I will also make thy pomp of the strong to cease, and the holy places should be defiled, and destruction cometh, and they should seek peace, and there should be no peace. Yeah, because when hell break loose, you're going to have people looking to call on the name of the Most High. You're going to have people that's going to come looking for the prophets, and they're not going to find us. Mischief should come upon mischief, and rumor should be upon rumor. And they that should seek a vision of the prophet, but the law should perish from the priests and the counsel from the ancients, man. So, hey, we ain't gonna be out here teaching to you. You know, we ain't gonna be out here telling you, oh, X, Y, and Z. Nah, you've had your warning. And those of you that ain't trying to give it the program, or those of you that may think you with the program, but yet you scoffed or you had a problem with order, don't come around us. All right, don't try to act like you cool with us now and all. Nah, keep your distance. Keep doing what you was doing. You know, say go to the sellers and buy. Don't come around us with that fake I'm cool with you now shit. Don't come around us, man. All right, we don't want your fucking presence around. Don't come around us. All right, I'm saying that again. Proverbs 1:20, it says, wisdom cried without, and she uttered her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse, and in the openings of the gates, and in the cities, and she uttered her voice, her word, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? Yeah, you notice he said that we have to do away with all this information online and in the streets. Okay, and the scriptures say that wisdom and knowledge is located in where? The streets, the chief place of concourse. the camps, man. For all you guys that's against the camps, well, the scriptures say we're gonna be out in the streets teaching. So if you're a man of the Lord and you a prophet, you're gonna be out in the streets teaching one way or another, because that's just how it is. This is how the Most High set it up. But it reads here, it says, and the scorners delight in their scornings, and fools hate knowledge. Okay, and we're mainly talking to our people because we know that you Edomites, we already know that you're not gonna get on board with it because this isn't for you. Okay, this is the time of your judgment and your kingdom is going down. But we're talking to our people, man. You foolish ones, you simple Israelites out there that's supposed to know better. And it reads, it says, turn you at my reproof, and behold, I will pour out my spirit into you, and I will make known my words unto you. But because I have called and you refuse, I have stretched out my hand, no man regarded. But ye have said it, know all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. So I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, and when your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, and when distress and anguish come upon you. Then they should call upon me, but I will not answer. They should seek me early, but they should not find me. It says, for they that hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh, they would none of my counsel, they despise all my reproof. So therefore should they eat of the fruit of their own way, and should be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple should slay them, and the prosperity of fools should destroy them. But whosoever hearkeneth to me should dwell in safety, and should be quiet from the fear of evil. And Lord's will, we're going to be in the Lord's good graces when this shit really hits the fan. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you were edified.